I do believe we're live on the YouTube though, so it's a start. Let me get myself wrapped in this blanket. It was raining a little bit earlier, so it's nice and cold. Usually it doesn't rain during our winters, but since we're lucky. I don't know if this cushion is very happy with me putting it on the wet, but sorry cushion. Better you than me, dude. Let's see. This one's gonna work, I'm sure. Yeah. Says tuning. Hello, Shannon. Connection issues. So it might still give me some problems. Weirdly enough, Bubbles actually asked me whether or not the RPAN is better, and I was like, yeah, oh, RPAN is good as new. No problems whatsoever. It's just working first tries. Little did I know I'm gonna get bamboozled by my own hopefulness. Thank you, Glenn, for joining me. It's so nice to have you here as well, friend. You finally got the rain I sent you. Thank you, Shannon. It's been, I mean, it takes a while. Came from far. There we go. The red stream bonked again. Let's try that one more time. How are you, friend? Thank you for asking, Shannon. How are you, Turpilis? How's it been being home, friend? How has it been being home? Okay, now it's not giving me the subreddits anymore. Let's see if I can update the app quickly. Nope. Okay, that's good. We're finding all of the problems and solving them as we go. Choosing to create more solutions and showing up. Let's see. Tuning. Connection issues. Might still be some problems. Maybe, probably some problems. But at least we're live on the YouTube, so we're here, friends. How did you sleep last night? I actually slept well, Shannon. Weirdly enough, I actually slept well last night. I feel it was, bruh. This little bug is like, nah, I want to be here. Amanda, thank you for joining us, friend. It's nice to see you here as well. Shannon and Glenn, thank you. Brother Ryan for joining us. I'm very well, thanks, friend. It's been awesome to be relaxed back at home. Happy to hear that, Glenn. Miss Plur. Okay, YouTube. YouTube is winning all the way today. I love how, like, I want to show you this actually. I want to show you, like, now, now I have to show you. So let me go to my messages. Go to Joey the dolphin. There's like been a Bubbles the lion, and now it's Joey the dolphin. And this was today, so 21st, and this was like maybe an hour before, even less than an hour before our stream. And he's like, I'm doing just okay. How has Arpan been? I'm like, it's been pretty good. Feels kind of like old Arpan. We've been dealing with less crashes slash funny business when trying to go live. Yeah. Yeah, manifest. Puppy long stockings, your feetsies are gonna be so wet. You're gonna have such wet feetsies. You wanna come and sit on me, don't you? Don't you, you silly thing? I know. Yeah, you can. I guess you can. I'm not gonna stop you. Doing an art booth today, so I'm going to keep my hands busy working on making things. My heart and mind is in the space with yous. Whew, what an honor to be able to be in Jovan's ear, like one of the little angels, you know, Jovan. What? Whispering sweet nothings in your ear, creative vibe to you, Joe. Thank you, Amanda, for sending some good vibes. Hello, have fun, Jovan. Right, a creative booth. I don't know what that entails. Would you like to share more with us, Jovan? Are you gonna be like doing art for people? Are you gonna do like little commission stuff? Ooh, I think our live stream is working this time. Seek. Welcome, Reddit friends, indeed. And greetings unto you, beloved unholy friends. What a pleasure to have you here with me. Let's read something worth saying. Getting into it. Really getting into it. Mm. Mm. I feel this one hits home for me. Jovan, hope you enjoyed your birthday celebrations with the family. I I don't know if I misunderstood, but I hope you still got to see your family nonetheless, Jovan. Love you, friends. I hope you had a great day yesterday. Thank you. I'm happy to hear you finally got some sleep last night, Mel. Me too. I feel like I had to. The words coming to my mind is force it. Hello, beautiful dry historian. Thank you for joining me, friend. It's nice to have you here. How you doing? How's life been treating you? So this is the thing we're saying for today. It goes, what creates experience is how you decide to view the events that come up in your life. And this one is literally the exact topic for today. How crazy. Just below that one, it goes, what do I choose to communicate to the world? We are ceaselessly teaching the world what we believe holds the greatest value. And even though I've had this thing worth saying in this book for a long time, and the fact that I opened up to this one haphazardly today, plus the fact that I had this moment yesterday where I really realized the value, the truth in this statement. We are ceaselessly teaching the world what we believe holds the greatest value. What creates experience then is how you decide to choose to view the events that come up in your life. I had a moment, let's call it a moment. I don't know if it was a good moment or if it was necessarily a bad moment, but it definitely was a moment yesterday amongst my family members where I didn't sleep properly the night before, so I ended up going to sleep like literally at 8 a.m., waking up like around 1ish. Then, did all of my yoga stuff, my stream, and then after my stream, I went and helped my mom package some rusks and make dough for gingerbread biscuits. And they basically come back home while I'm still busy with this, and I bring the bowl of pre-made dough into the kitchen, and then I bring the mixer bowl into the kitchen. And my mom is like, "Oh, but thank you, but uh, I wanted you to do it earlier so that I don't have to wash the bowls," he says to me. And I'm like, "Yeah, I would have liked to do it earlier, but I did say this morning that I'm going to go to sleep soon. So I did it as soon as I could." And she was like, "Yeah, I hear you. I just would have liked to have it done earlier because so and so." And then I was like, "Yeah, I get that as well." And then there was like a whole, I don't know if it was aggressive, maybe just heated, a heated discussion, if you will. And it kind of went into this air of me saying to my mom that it doesn't feel like she respects my time or even thinks of me as a person sometimes. Like when you ask someone to do something for you, there's usually this level of respect that comes along with it. Like, hey, friend, person that I respect as my equal, do you have time to do X, to do Y? Yes, no. Thank you for considering doing X for me. No, none of that. It's just you do X. And not only you do X, but you did X, but now I'm angry at you because you didn't do X at Y. And I don't like that. I literally, that's why I'm trying to do what it is I'm doing right now. And then my dad, he took this as an opportunity to trip out. Let me say it that way. Where he's like, "Oh yeah, you're being so disrespectful by, telling your mom that she doesn't respect your time and na 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 na." And I'm like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Quite the contrary. I'm trying to reach a point of equal respect for one another so that we can actually value each other as human beings. And then he says to me, "You are selfish. You are selfish. Not you're acting selfishly. You are a selfish person." And Yassi, I'm fuming. Like I want to burn the world down. So angry am I because everything that I try to do in my life these days, I understand all of us can be selfish sometimes, but I've been trying, genuinely trying to give of myself in a way that is not selfish. And then to hear these things said to me, I was tripping out about it still to this morning. Literally, the first thing that I thought about when I woke up this morning is my dad's projection of "you are selfish." Just seeing these words in my mind. And you know what the worst part is, dude? To me, at least in this whole scenario, is not so much that he says these things to me. Not at all, in fact. You know, like people who will say things to us all the time, and these things maybe or may not be true nonetheless. But the thing that bothers me is the fact that after hearing him, after receiving this projection onto my consciousness, I want to be selfish. Now I want to be. I want to, like, there's this ego trip inside of me that's happening of like, oh yeah, I'll fucking show you what selfishness looks like. You know, that's where my mind goes. That's where my ego is going. Of like, I'll fucking show you what an actual selfish person looks like. And then you'll know. Then you'll see what a selfishness. And like, I don't want to be in that state. And I was like really struggling. I was really struggling with feeling that way, paying attention to this ego mindset of like spitefulness, I guess, and then kind of bringing it into a lesson of what you say to people matters. That you should not say anything to someone unless you want them to believe that about themselves. You know, and I noticed that. Like my dad saying to me that I'm selfish, it didn't make me less selfish. Maybe it did. Maybe I had to do the work to make myself less selfish. But the initial reaction was making me even more selfish, making me angry to the point of wanting to make a point, you know, creating separation. So taking that as the lesson, paying attention to how I use my words, paying attention to what I say to other people, really asking myself if I want someone to believe what I'm saying to them. If I say to you, I love you and I hope you succeed in this life, I want you to believe that. If I say something horrible to you, do I want you to believe that? You know, and I don't. I don't. And saying something like that to someone, it's not helpful. It's not helpful. It just causes more separation, especially since relationships are one of those things that you can't. I feel like can you fix a relationship? Is it possible even to fix a relationship? Me and my dad's relationship has been so shallow, you know, like genuinely shallow for most of my life, where he doesn't understand how I think, how I experience. And at this point in my existence, I've convinced myself that he doesn't want to. And every single time I try to create some leeway, create some synchronicity, create a sense of camaraderie or friendship, I guess, between me and my dad, there is this intention, this want, this almost opportunistic nature. In every single time there's an opportunity to make less of me, that opportunity will be taken. Every single time he has the opportunity to say something to me that is a projection of negativity, he'll take that opportunity. And to think about how I've been going through that my entire life and how I've had to continuously try and recorrect, like what I'm doing right now. Like my dad is actively telling me how I'm, you know, basically ruining my life. Yeah, we'll see if you'll be able to afford a car doing what it is you're doing. I'm like, I don't care about affording a car, dude. Okay, I'm calm. It's just had to freak out a little bit. What are you drinking? I'm drinking some of that H2O, friend. Thank you for asking. Dry historian. Definitely had a hard time sleeping last night too. Too much happiness and good. My brain wanted to sit in that happy. Mine too, dry historian. I've been in that state for a while now. But yesterday I was like, I was not having a good time, dude. I was like, I basically cried myself to sleep. I know that sounds cliche, but that's literally what happened. Parents, I hate that. It's what it is. How's it going? Daniel Gonzalez. Hmm. Daniel Gonzalez. I don't exactly know if I know you, Daniel. I don't know. No, you can't be. I don't think you can be. I thought for a second you might be Christian's Daniel, but I don't think his surname is Gonzalez. It's nice to have you here, though, friend. It's going well on this side. I'm actively trying to better myself and stay aware. How about you, friend? Glad you're enjoying home. Shan, thank you, friends. Wasn't able to hang with my fam. Okay, I felt that. But spend the rest of the day chilling with the critter fam. It was a chill day. I'm happy you got to have that day for yourself. I feel weirdly enough, Siobhan, that it might be exactly what you needed, and this might be projection as well. It is 100% projection. You know, I feel in my experience, sometimes birthdays can be almost more draining to the person having the birthday than anything. You know, it's like almost a brutal experience. It's like not fun to have a birthday sometimes because of the amount of expectation in the love that is being projected towards you. And when you have people in your space alongside that, it can be even more tiring. So maybe that's what you needed, Jovan. Just be spending some time with the critters instead of, having all of that extra energy. Are you feeling shy? I hope your ear is feeling better today. I feel your ear must be good at this point, right? Be impeccable with your word, the four agreements. Be impeccable with your word. Don't assume anything. Don't take things personally. That's again where I failed yesterday, Amanda. I took it personally. Because how can you not take it personally? It's like one of the most personal things you can say to someone. Like that's you're literally stabbing at the person. Oh like fuck yeah, just stabbing the ego. And that was my response. And instead of like screaming and going sicko mode, I just went super quiet. If I say something, I'm gonna regret it. So I'm gonna say nothing at all. I'm gonna keep saying nothing. But I don't like saying nothing. It's a paradox. I was going, you know me. You have put my words in your book. Oh. You might what's your Reddit username, friend, so I can attach it in my brain. Hey everyone, thank you for joining us, Daniel. Damn, I feel like I need to get on a plane, fly there, and try to create peace and love with the two of you meld. I keep feeling like you both just can't hear each other anymore. I feel that way as well, Ryan, and it's a little bit, it sucks ass. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna articulate who's. No, it in fact sucks ass. That's how it feels. And it's robbing us both of something that's so beautiful. That's the thing, Ryan, and I know you know that as well. It's like there exists two worlds ceaselessly in this moment. The world in which there is harmony and unity and understanding of one another and where we come from, and then there is the world of separation. And for some reason, I happen to be of the archetype of believing that unity is the only way forward. And my dad believes that unity is literally hippie woo woo. What do you mean you're not separate? He says to me. What do you mean? I'm like, if you take me off of the planet, I die in like 2 minutes. I'm not separate. It's not rocket science. It's just hippie woo hippie mambo jumbo, Dad. Why don't you get me, Dad? I didn't slap my door at least. Good morning, Happy Smile Seeker. It's nice to have you. That is not selfish, Mel. You want and deserve respect. I feel we all do, and if we can't respect one another, they will just form this deep seated hatred for one another. And I will not allow that. I would rather be the asshole saying things that are uncomfortable to hear every single day of my life than not say things and then grow in resentment inside of myself for the other people. You are also, and you are also in a way setting boundaries. Yeah, that's actually what it is. Oh man, dude, that's tripping me out right now. We don't set boundaries in our family. At least we don't articulate it as setting boundaries. And now, upon hearing those words, I'm like really noticing how I could do even better. Could set even more boundaries. It is good. It's good to set boundaries. There is a clear communication of what can be and cannot be expected then. Doesn't make it easy though. Thank you, Maxine, for joining us, friend. It's nice to have you here with me. How are you doing? Remember that anger is just sadness held in too long. Come at them the way you're speaking with us. I'm being genuine. I try to. That's the thing, Maxine. I care. Please see and hear me. I might be different, but I'm not selfish. I'm trying to communicate to better the situation. That is basically what I did. And fortunately, Maxine, I got to have a conversation with my mom after the spat, if you will, and I apologized that it escalated, and I was willing to admit the fault that I had in that situation, in communicating what I wanted. And my mom did the same, and there was an understanding kind of reached between me and her. But my dad's and like not only was it my dad like that, I think this is the part that bothers me the most about it. It's not only the fact that my dad was the one attacking me in the situation, but the fact that he attacks me with like my siblings in the room with us, and then when he wants to make a point, he says stuff like, the whole family thinks you are wrong, the whole family thinks you're the asshole. Like he says stuff like this to me, and my siblings are too, I don't want to say something about them that I don't want to believe. So my siblings aren't the way that I am. I can believe that. Especially when it comes to standing up for what I believe is right. Especially when it comes to standing up for what I believe is right against my parents. They're unwilling. They won't. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's their want to be loved or something. Want to be in the good books, maybe. I don't know. But I had this moment, where my dad was attacking me, going like, and the problem is, it's not like an attack of, this is what happened, it's like, this is what happened, this is why you're wrong, and you're wrong, and you're wrong because of this, and you're wrong, and not only do I think you're wrong, but your sibling thinks you're wrong, and you're wrong, and you're wrong. And I'm just like, bruh, stop. And then when I'm like telling my dad to stop, with this trip that he's on, and I tell him, Dad, can you please stop this trip? That's what I think of it. Like, puppy, 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 your feet are so dirty, silly girl. Like, you're running through the mud. I'm sorry. I love you, but you're very dirty, Peppy. And the blanket, like, just like that little mini step on it, kind of like transfer some mud. And then like my sister kind of comes into the air as well, and she's like, "Yeah, man, Dad is just defending his wife." She says something like this to me, and then she had a conversation with my mom about that, her standing up for my mom with my dad, and then my mom so fucking contrived. I had this conversation with my mom this today. It's all nonsense. It's all nonsense, and I'm noticing just today that we shouldn't say things to one another that we don't want the other person to believe. Like, if you're gonna say something to someone, you should want them to believe that. Really want them to believe that, and wanting to believe it from a perspective of bettering them, or them having a better life as a result of it. Does your dad also smoke pot? He does occasionally. Weirdly enough, it could just be him numb and not allowing himself to share his true self to you. He smokes pot, but he refuses to smoke pot with me. Happy smile seeker. He'll smoke by himself, but he won't smoke with me. Me and my sibling, well, me and Rudo have smoked together. Rudo, my dad, and Vessel, my younger sibling, have smoked together. But Vessel hasn't smoked with me. My dad hasn't smoked with me. I don't know why they don't want to. But Rudo, he smokes with me all the time. And we get to have these gorgeous conversations, like straight up mind melting stuff. He's a genius. And I love talking to him. And I love talking to my, like all of my family members, especially in that state. But Vessel, Vessel only recently, like he's only smoked once in his entire life, and my dad just refuses to. Like, my dad refuses to the point where if me and Rudo are smoking together, he won't even sit down with us. Like, he'll come outside and smoke a little bit, and then like he'll hover behind us, maybe like at the door, listening in on the conversation. But he won't sit down and have the conversation with us, and he refuses to smoke with me one on one as well. I don't know why. Like, now I'm tripping out about it, Happy Smile Seeker. Now I'm thinking about it. Maybe that should be the thing that I should try to do, is sit down and smoke a joint with him. It's not that easy always. I'm gonna ask though. Thank you. Do you live with him? How old are you? I'm 24, friend, and technically yes, I do live with him. This is his farm, and I'm sleeping in his house at the moment. There's no hatred in my heart for him. Quite the contrary. I love him to the point where I love him so much. I feel I love him almost more than most people, because when I, for instance, when I take psychedelics and I look myself in the mirror, I see my dad. You know, I see, not only do I see my dad, but I see my dad seeing me as my dad looking at myself. Does that make sense? You're like, yeah, you're crazy, Mel. Fire. Maybe a little bit. But it's this genuine experience of knowing, actually knowing that he is me. He's just me as a dad of myself. And I see him making things much harder for himself than it needs to be. Makes things harder for us than it needs to be. But does that to some people? It can. Can. What are you drinking? Water. Yes, it's possible to fix a relationship because change is the only constant. That's a good point. Thank you, Maxine. You can shape your reality from within. All you have to do is visualize it. As soon as you align, everyone else around will shift with you. It's already happened, Maxine. Maybe that's why I'm so emotionally perturbed today. It's because I thought that was happening. You know, I visualized it. I manifest it. I meditate every single day. I exercise. I try to, take care of myself in so many ways and to be an example of that self-love in this household. But now that self-love is seen as selfishness, Like now I'm selfish for exercising for myself. I'm selfish for trying to cook for myself. I'm seeing this weird, like almost voided triangle, and then there is this plasma being sucked into this triangle. It's almost like a black hole, but it was a triangle, and it was a triangle like that, and then it had like a curve on the inside, and then the curve area was where the plasma was like being sucked in. How about that? Your dad doesn't want to be your equal. He wants to remain your authority. It sucks. That's true. And I guess I get it in some way, but you're not an authority ever. Like we can't be an authority. We're human beings. We have no authority whatsoever. You know, if a tsunami comes right now, I'm just wrecked. Authority, no, 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 Mr. Tsunami. Damn it. It might be true though. Don't worry, Mel. It's just a general worrisome parent worry some parents have for their kids. I'm not too worried, friend. I'm not too worried, but I am willing to talk about the things that I'm going through from this perspective of knowing that I'm not unique, that we all go through these things, and seeing that someone that we might, value their opinion of or like spending time with them, seeing their humanness as well. I am but a person. That's my reaction to Mel. Just say nothing so it doesn't get yeah, that's what I do. Try a story and I hate that. That's the worst thing to me. I don't like staying quiet, but sometimes I need to do that. It feels petty. It feels weak sometimes to me. That's my reaction to Mel. Melt, for what it's worth, I think your dad is saying that because he's jealous. He chose a life based on what he thinks society expects. He sees you living your life in a different way. Even though that might be the case, Nanshi, he still is my dad. He still is like he's been providing for me my entire life. He put me through high school and he gave me food and I had clothing to wear. And you can say that this is exactly what a parent is supposed to be doing. That's kind of what they signed up for, and I would agree with you. But it doesn't take away my gratitude for him. And if he didn't live the life that he lived, I wouldn't live the life that I'm living. And even if he had a choice to go and do things over again, he wouldn't be able to live my life, even if he wanted to. So it's difficult for me to agree or disagree with you right now, Nanshi. I feel I am very fortunate to live in this age, for example, to have access to these devices, for example, changes everything, you know. And he didn't during his time, during the time that he was me at my age, right? This wasn't an opportunity for him. So there might be jealousy in seeing the life that I'm living and the life I'm going to continue to live, knowing that he can never have that. But I don't think that I don't th- yo, it's fucking difficult. My brain is melting right now. I hope rather that there's not a cynical nature to that. Let me finish it with that. I think I'll leave it at saying this. Self-care, self-love isn't taking a bath or eating a chocolate or going on vacation. Self-love is creating a life for yourself that you don't want to escape. And I'm trying to do that, Nanchi. I feel I've already done it. I feel more secure, more happy, more sure of my life path and what it is I'm supposed to be doing. Maybe that's what he's jealous of than ever. Like I've never heard my dad share dreams with me. I don't know what my dad's vision is for the future. I don't know if he has a hobby. He doesn't. Other than watching videos on his cell phone or on his WhatsApp group texts. And I don't know if he's unwilling to share that stuff with me because it's going to make him less of an authority, or if that part of himself is just not activated. I don't know. I don't know. It's best to be truthful and honest, even if it does not get you where you need to be every time, friend. I agree. Oh, happy smile seeker, aren't we all sometimes? We can all be a little bit insecure. Parents are often afraid to be vulnerable sometimes. That is it. Your siblings are gullible. It's okay. It's okay to say that, man. No, I don't want to believe that about them either. Happy smile seeker. Parents just want their kids to be independent someday. Maybe he feels like a failure. I don't think so, friend. I like the times we live in is exponentially different. 50% of our under 30s are unemployed in our country. 50%. 34% of our entire population is unemployed. 34% of our entire population is unemployed. It's hard to find a job here in South Africa, dude, especially one that's decently well paying. Like, I mean, yo, dude, like if you can find a job, if you're lucky enough to find a job, it won't really pay you more than 300, if you're lucky, $400. I'm serious. So I don't feel that part of him is there. I don't think it's a failure. Stuff that, you know what? I'm not even gonna go into that trip. I don't think gullible is the word they could recognize. I wanted to say I wanted to say spineless. That's the word that was coming to my mind, but I wasn't gonna say it, and I didn't say it about them. I just said the word now, so yeah, I can believe that. Yes, you're correct. Scare something. You're correct. They were taught to be strong and never afraid. It's not realistic. Just a trait from older times. That is it. Dude hates dogs. Now I love my dog so much. I just hate being dirty. I am a little bit of a clean freak. It sounds so pompous to say shit like that. But I like being clean. I like being clean with a fury. Like, very dedicated to staying clean. I faced many years of difficulties with parents until I moved out and got my own place. Until I moved out and got my own place, there was no peace. I made peace with me being different, but realized I had to depend on only myself. I feel that as well, Maxine. That fortunately hasn't been the case for our family. There is peace. There is peace. It's just when there's not peace, that is taken as an opportunity for war, if that makes sense. There's mostly peace. There's like 95% peace. And then when there's a lapse in that peace, It's like, oh yeah, it's fucking guns blazing. You know, all of the ammunition comes out and then just gets absolutely blasted. And I'm like, what was the peace for if we're just gonna murder each other now? Good day to you, you awesome, beautifully complex creatures. We must always remember that we are constantly supported by the collective. Blessings and prosperity to all of you. Mm, to you too. Thank you, Jumpin' Jack. Love you, friend. Molly is here as well, saying, good day. You were having a male struggle with your dad. He thinks he's right, and he's the dad. Until you are still young and not to understand, until you have children, it is difficult. It's true, Molly. I think the thing that bothers me is the fact that he's trying to be right about something so menial. You know, like I do believe that I do good, you know, most of the time. I help around the house with chores. I help my mom when it comes to her baking. I try to be a social node in this household of like information, of understanding. But but every single time there's an opportunity for war, as I said, that part of him comes out. You know, and yesterday's was he felt he was gonna make a point about how I'm not living, and he says this to me as well, like, oh yeah, you say on your streams, you know, love and light, but then you live in this way where you tell your mom that she doesn't respect your time, you know, and that's so disrespectful. And I'm like, ammunition. You know, like you got this ammunition now, and now you want to fire at me. So like I don't think I'll ever do that, even if I have kids, Miss Molly. I don't think I'll understand it ever. I hope I don't. I really do hope I don't understand that. You sound like you have experience in this topic. Perspective changes of age, that's true. May I repeat, you are not selfish. Thank you, Dry Historian. Thank you. I'm I'm believing it. Thank you for saying something worthy of being believed. That's weird. What's weird is I notice that a lot of people out there who get uncomfortable when you put your self-love first. It's not alien to them. They think you're being, it's so alien to them, they think you're being selfish. Literally, Maxine. Literally. And if you're not willing to love yourself, you are unable to love anyone else. How could you? How could you? If the one person that's always with you is unloved by you, how could you love someone else? Actually, I respectfully disagree, Melty. You are unique. Thank you. In such an amazing way. When you shine brighter than others, the norm can't handle it. This is the life we have chosen. All we can do is try our best. I don't understand, Maxine. I don't understand, friend. When I see someone, you know, genuinely excited about things or with life in their eyes, I want to see more of that, you know. And I've been living in this world where, for some reason, people would rather stomp on the light than add fire, add wood to the light. It's separation. I do understand. It is separation. It's this experience of seeing light outside of yourself and then convincing yourself that it's outside of you, that it's like that. I am like this, and that person is like that. And then causing this separation, this anger, this hatred of one another because of that. You are this, and I am that. I am that, and you are this. Nah. For some reason, I just imagine myself like running in circles for a second. Definitely could be true. Hi Beans, morning Jack. It's nice to have you jumping. Hope you're feeling wondrous and loved. Even more so that you're here with us jumping. I feel you, Mel. My parents don't understand what I'm doing, and I think I'm ruining my life and being selfish. It's absurd a little bit. I'm usually on Reddit, first time joining on YouTube. I get that. Thank you, Daniel. What's your Reddit username, friend? So I can connect it. My ear is still a little muffled, but I can definitely hear a lot better out of it. I had a chiropractor appointment the other day, and my neck was really out of whack. After the adjustment, I can feel things flowing again. I'm happy to hear that, friend. Thank you for taking care of yourself, for loving yourself. I've been forced to constantly change Reddit accounts because I get myself IP banned as a teenager for really dumb reasons. I am not surprised, Daniel. You teenagers can do some dumb things. I love you, Fred. I believe it's possible to repair relationships, Mel. It takes a lot of patience and understanding from those that you're trying to repair that bond with. I've been trying for years, though, Clint. I've been trying for a decade now. Like an actual decade. Like our relationship fell apart when I was 12. When I realized my dad's values are very much not aligned with mine. And it got worse. And then he started working out of the country, so I would only see him like, what, a few weekends out of the year. And then if he was home, he would be working at home as well. And if he's not working at home, he'd be working on the farm. And if I wanted any of his time, I was supposed to spend time with him doing what he wanted to do, like working. He wanted to be working, so I needed to be working with him. And my dad is manic. Like he's actually manic, and it's like there's something wrong, I feel, where he can't not do things. It's literally 11 p.m. at night, and he's like welding things and grinding things. And I come out of my room trying to sleep, and I'm like, what are you doing? It's 11 at night. Oh, this thing needs to get done. And then the next day, he'll spend 6 hours watching YouTube. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Why? I am so confused. I'm so confused. I'm trying to think for myself, am I gonna be that? Like what is the steps? How do you get to that point? And I'm trying to pay attention from this perspective of having a kid one day and not doing the same thing. To repair the bond, dual versus non-dual tension. That's it, Ryan. Oh Lord, I hate talking to my family about anything deep. I accept that they can't understand, so I just keep it simple with them. I have not accepted yet, friend. Unfortunately, I have a hard time accepting. I smile every time you enter the room. Oh, goo. What a pleasure having you here with us. Thank you for seeing him as well, Brother Ryan. It sounds very cliche, but some people are just incapable of understanding certain concepts. I don't like to believe that, Daniel. I believe that every single person on planet Earth is capable of just as much as I am. Even more. I feel like I am not even scratching my potential every single day. Hey, who needs tears? Nice to see you, friend. Thank you for joining us here. Bring me with you, Ryan. I'll bring my flower remedies. We'll get those vibrations up. I'll feed them those freaking vibration, those Bach remedies for everyone. Can be a great burden to have higher than average intelligence. Yeah. I was going through all of the trips of the words you said, and then I consolidated. I brought them to the point, and the point, as I zoomed into it, was that little monkey. Yes. Some people are just uncomfortable with intimacy. Why though, Amanda? That's a boundary that needs to be respected too, I guess. And I've had this conversation with your friends so many times on these streams as well, where it's this ebb and flow, and then this realization that I don't have to / won't get to have what I want when it comes to the relationship that I know is possible. Like there is this depth, right? Like infinite universes. There are these infinite universes in front of me at all times, and doing certain things allows certain infinities. Doing other things allows other infinities. And the infinities that I want for my life and for the life of my loved ones are not the infinities that we're having right now. And I'm trying to course correct. I'm being like, bruh, please, please, dude. You don't want to go where you're going. You don't want to go where you're going. Because where my dad's going is alone. Like, if none of us are in the house, I don't know if my mom would want to stay with my dad. Not with the amount of infighting. Like, if it's not for us kids, keeping the sanity, keeping the balance in the home, there is no home at this point. Oh, wow, your dad smokes pot? He does. My family calls me a pathetic drug addict for smoking pot, even though I'm a hard worker and very productive on weed. Same. It's about how you use it at the end of the day. Nail on the head, Amanda. Some people would rather die than open up emotionally. Some people do die opening up emotionally. That part of themselves melts. But obviously, I'm an encourager of that. If you feel yourself melting, melt more. Please. Please allow yourself that. Your father is probably just worried about you to his core. He's scared of a lifestyle he isn't familiar with. It's true. It is true, Amanda. None of us know what we're doing. None of us. And where my dad is right now is not where I want to be when I'm where he is right now. So it's this weird paradox of I cannot fully, not fully, listen to him. And I don't know if that sounds dickish, probably a little bit, but I refuse to. I can't. The things that he believes, the things that he says, is not things that I want to believe. I feel like you are right. Thank you, friends, for helping me see more. I appreciate it. I think your dad and people like him just don't think anything outside of the physical. They either can't or just don't want to. They might just not respect what you think about. Yeah, it doesn't. Like my dad not only doesn't respect what I think about, but he actively and openly ridicules me for what I think about. Like I was listening to this podcast between Lex and Donald Hoffman. And Donald Hoffman is a cognitive scientist. This dude is like you can hear in the way that he talks about things and the things that he talks about, he's a genius. And he basically talks like I shared this, I think it was 2 days ago that we talked about the whole user interface thing. I heard it on that podcast. So this is this dude's model of reality right now, that space and time do not exist, right? We think of ourselves in space and we go through time, and we think of it as fundamental. We think of it as a building block of the universe. But what if the actual building blocks of the universe are invisible to us? And what we're seeing right now is but a user interface. In the same way you have a user interface on your cell phone, these icons that you can click and buttons that you can press to make little letters, there is all of this background stuff, literal transistors switching on or being switched off. And depending on where they are in that state, billions of them gives you what you're seeing right now. And to try and switch billions of transistors in order to use your cell phone would be impossible. In the same way that using the actual fundamental base level of reality would be impossible. So we're using it through a user interface. And I'm like packaging rusks listening to this podcast. And my dad is in the room with me. He was helping package some some sweet biscuits. And he laughs. Like he actually laughs as I'm having this conversation with him and I'm talking to him. And he asks me, how do you prove that? And I'm like, it's not about proving it. It's about thinking about it. What does it mean to you upon thinking about it? And he doesn't want to think about certain things. And for me, thinking about certain things creates a sense of awe, a sense of infinity, a largeness to life. He tries to be reductionist. make things more simple, I guess. The same way of atheists don't usually respect religion, even if your dad might not have any idea why he is how he is, because it doesn't even try to explore himself. That's what I've seen as well, at least, Daniel. Isaac, brother Isaac, it's nice to have you here. Hope you're doing well. That's great to hear, Shannon. Good day for you. Your remedies bring so much light to my routine. Been a bit indulgent today, smoked early, but living into the beautiful moment. Take care of the bear. What was your intention for smoking? Did you have one? Please do tell me. Sweet. Hey, Mariah. At some point, stepping back and just watching the fire until it burns out is the only thing you can do. That's concerning, Mariah. That's very concerning, those words you just mentioned. Because I do like watching the fire burn as well. Let me just say it that way. Sometimes when you're trying to make your point to someone else, you keep fortifying your position to the point where even truth won't penetrate. You have been fortifying, building these walls so long that you identify with those walls. You're like, oh, look at this cozy house I live in, you know? And then there's like this whole world outside of the house. And I'm like, knocking on the door, I'm like, hey, dude, come outside, you know? And he's like, no, I won't let you in. And I'm like, I don't want to get in, yo. Come outside. No, I won't open the door. Bro, come and look at what's outside. No. No. No, I've built this house to live in my whole existence. I'm like, yeah, dude, you can come back to it. You can come back to it. It's not all there is. Morning, Marvin. Amanda, thank you for sending love. I think we who have ears need to stop telling ourselves we understand the human mind. I don't think we do, friend. I don't think any of us have claimed to understand the human mind. I think we're more exploring actively the human mind, if anything. It's like instead of being like, I understand Earth, more like walking from one place to another, looking at this tree and then that tree. In the same way, we can do that with our mental state. But the things that I'm going through right now is related to this trip of family, to this trip of respect for one another. And that is the part of mind we are traversing right now, if you will. Can behave as if we know how the human mind works, but we can only believe in reasons that a majority considers truth based on patterns. That's true. Daniel, you're pretty up there, friend. Tune in, man. No. You won't be that, Mel. Love is true. Love is true. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you for that encouragement, friend. We have the Rambler joining us on the Reddit. It's nice to have you here, friend. Oh yeah, self-care is creating a life you don't want to escape. I love that. Right, Try. It like when I read it, I was like, shit. Yo, this feels good. Try adjusting to new meds. So happy to be alive and here with you all. Thank you, Maxine, for still showing up, friend. I hope the meds help. I hope they create a little bit of stability that you can build on. In my experience, dads show love by pointing out faults. It helps me remember that their fathers probably showed love to them the same way. It's up to us to break the cycle. Showed love by pointing out faults. I guess I can see that. The thing is, my dad didn't have a dad up until he was like, he had a dad up until 6, then his dad passed away, then he got a stepdad when he was 13 who he hated because he was sleeping with his mom, obviously. And I mean, I don't know how much you could learn from a stepdad from the age of 13 onwards. Man, what a trip, dude. What a trip. Thank you, Rambler, for sharing, friend, for teaching me. You're doing amazing. No, you got. Thank you for seeing our friend. Morning, Gavi. It's almost like the universe is using your dad in a way to test you. Ignore the 3D and know the change. Know the change into being. Stay strong, friend. Everything is happening through you, not to you. Living from the inside out instead of from the outside in. Thank you, Maxine, for the reminder, friend. This is why I'm so happy to be doing these things with you, friends, because you genuinely check me. You're like, hey, How about you pay attention a little bit? If only your parents could see how happy you make other people and how important you are to us, what you're causing true change in the world. I feel, like it's another thing that confuses me, Maxine. They don't want to. They can, but they don't want to. They don't want to tune into my streams. They've not tuned into a single stream. I've done this 367 days, and they've not tuned in to a single one of my streams. And again, I can tell myself a story of separation about that. But instead, I get to be more thankful for you, friends. Yes, there we go. Thank you for sending out those gifts. Thank you, Ms. Molly, for being a gift in this moment with me. BJ925. It's been a while. Hey, Melt. Someone of a similar name to yours, and it confuses me. So I'm never sure if it's you unless you're streaming. I mean, Meltmore is pretty easy to remember, PJ. It's nice to have you here, though, friend. Thank you for joining us. We have Ninja Peach joining us as well. Eden, love you, friend. Your dad comes from the generation of physical action. Oh yeah, I got beaten so much as a child. How much? Yeah, so much. But the younger generation and seeing the action comes from vibration and energy. Both sides are having a hard time understanding. It's a little bit of a weird adjustment period. And you can literally see our planet changing as a result of that adjustment as well. Believe in the power of words. For 3 days, do not say the word I, me, mine, myself. This is very hard. Sticky notes posted all over will help. And you cannot beat yourself up every time you catch yourself saying those words. Let me know how it goes. I'll try, Miss Molly. No I, no me, no myself, and no mine. So it's not exactly... I mean, it's kind of related. Christian has this rule at his workplace where if someone says mine, they have to do 10 push-ups. So thank you. I appreciate that. That's a good recommendation, Miss Molly. Problem with that again. Yeah. Same old. Thank you for the love, friend. Some people don't want to expand their reality because they literally can't handle expansion. They can't handle melting. It's the only thing we do, though. Maybe they just don't know. It scares them because it feels like something. It feels like a being drawn, being sucked, being melted, being, really being. Instead of being that which you've been told, that which you think, actually just being. When the fire is raging, it feels like it will never end. Years turn into decades, and then you realize all along you were the one controlling the flames. Always controlling the flames. Daddy-O is permanently stuck in his culty upbringing, like a statue. He's not going anywhere, but instead of you putting your energy into him, put it into yourself and break the cycle. Agree to disagree and be better. You already are. Love you, Eden. Thank you for that encouragement, friend. That is what I'm trying to do actively, and that's why I'm willing to talk about these things as well, is because it gives me an opportunity to really reflect on why it is I'm feeling the way I am, how it is I'm feeling, how I can articulate to myself why it is I'm feeling the way I am, and how I can choose to articulate going forward. Like, I've had emotionally revealing, conversations with you friends that in turn help me talk to my parents, to my siblings, to my friends more effectively. So thank you, Eden, for growing with me, friend, for breaking that cycle with me. Melt, where are people watching you from these days? I feel Reddit side is dead this week. I mean, we have a lot of friends in the Reddit right now. Dry, you, Epi Smile Seeker, we have Wouldn't Resist, and Eden. So many friends here on the Reddit still. And we have a lot of friends on the YouTube as well that I'm missing this comment on. That house analogy is my brain / anxiety with fear, slowly learning to take a step outside of safe people, though. You are a supported friend. We'll hold you by the hand and take you into the infinity. Your house won't go away. It's you. You are the house, friend. You are the spoon. I don't know why, but that was also like one of those realizations to me, that the whole Matrix thing of the spoon isn't real, right? The spoon is real. You are the spoon. You are literally a spoon scooping out of the infinity ceaselessly. Light, sound, oxygen, food, water, conversation. Scooping for yourself, eating right now. You're the spoon, friend. Feed yourself. Thank you. Thank you. Dry story, and I look forward to seeing you outside, friend. Where do you happen to come from? You seem like a cool person. No, you, happy spouse seeker. Just a mirror, friend. Let me know that you are loved. Thank you. Wouldn't resist. No, you, friend. You're so loved as well. Thank you for joining us. Being real with your comments throughout. You will understand when you can do the words thing. When you can do the words thing. Hmm. Maybe. I'm learning, Smalley. Fortunately, I don't believe I know anything. I believe I'm learning how to know things. And I don't think that process ever stops. What's going on with Arpan? What's happening with everyone? Where is everybody these days? I mean, the front page went away, wouldn't resist, so there's definitely less people. But we are here now. Miss Molly, you, Eden. It's hard when family doesn't love us and show love like we deserve. Been there. I have to remind myself that that's my worth isn't defined by their love language or the lack thereof. I am worthy of love. I am love. I am loved. Man, we haven't said those words in a long time. I am worthy of love. I am loved. I am love. I am lovable. That's the one we missed. I am lovable, loved, and worthy of love. Thank you for the reminder, Eden. I appreciate it. I'm about done with Reddit and Arpan. Grateful to have found you all, yet it sucks. Yeah, unfortunately, Reddit is like shooting Arpan in the barrel like a fish. But here we are, still swimming. Ah, miss me. Bullets just flying across us. Dodging all of them. You are loved, brother. Thank you, Miss Molly. You too. We love you, Mel. I love you, Eden. Thank you for letting me see you, friends, and for letting me share that love right back. It's extremely hard to remember depending on your environment, but this is true. I feel loved for what it's worth. I feel very loved right now. I find that it's a forgetfulness to be aware. My father has gone through ups and downs in his consciousness and his conscious well-being. He's been super aware and used his willpower to better his life. And he's also been down a road of unawareness and failing into hours of YouTube and getting wrapped into his own things, unaware of his social implications. And I don't think there's anything wrong with allowing yourself, entertainment, if you will. I feel there is something wrong with it when there's no structure. It's just like, oh, guess there's nothing to do now, so I'm gonna start doing this. And then, like, and I understand why, to come back to the thing I said before, where he'll just do things at 12 at night, because he has this thought, like, oh, I'm gonna weld this thing. And then instead of doing it tomorrow morning, with the new day, he's gonna go and do it now. To damn with sleep, to damn with who it might disturb. Isn't that true? But you two are loved by many boopers. You are so worthy. We love you. Yes, we do, Aunt B. We love you, friend. Believe it. That's what this whole stream was about. About saying things we want to believe. And we said a lot of things, and now we get to choose what we want to believe about this world. Just wanted to say, I'm taking a lot from the stream today. Everything is really hitting me in the deepest part of myself. And you were here from the start, Dry. You were here first, friend. The stream was for you, basically. Not only are people capable and more than you, but also less capable. All of the infinity, Mariah. Just to reiterate on that point, I genuinely don't consider myself more special than anyone else. I feel, especially when it comes to the depressive states that I went through, being in that depressive state, trying to actually fucking kill myself, I realized that, I can't stop I can't keep believing. Maybe we can attach it to today's topic. I can't keep believing the stories people were telling me about myself, about the world. That's what killed me more than anything. Thank you for the wholesome hammer. Getting bonked. Even love. Thank you, Edith. Thank you, beloved friend. I'm also I'm also a let's do it when I get motivated, even if it's 3 a.m. And I feel that. That's why I'm not being judgeful. I'm not saying it's bad. I just think there should be balance in that. There should be balance. Because if we alienate ourselves when we do stuff like that, I feel. You don't understand the concept of belief. You don't believe that everyone is capable of understanding. You feel like you know, but how can you know such a thing? I don't, friend. It's something that I'd like to believe. That's the thing. It's in the same way that people believe in faith, people believe in a God. I like to believe in people. You know, you can believe in God and there can happen nothing of it, or you can believe in God and you can find God in everything. And for me, I try to find God in people. Every single person literally being a node of Godhood themselves, being the Godhead themselves. And I get to see into that eyes of that Godhead. I get to notice, Puppy, your feetsies are so dirty, sweetie girl. Your feetsies are so dirty, dirty. Let me see all that dirt. Let me see. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna. You know what, Puppy? I accept. Come, 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 Puppy. Come here. Come. Here you go. It is kind of cold, so she's probably cold as well. Is that comfy? You like that? Yeah. Wish you could come and steal. Wish we could come and steal from the farm and bring the stream to you, friend. I like that. Maybe one day, Maxine, who knows? Meld loves us and we love Meld. Without one another, life is meaningless. We are all one body, but connected by this technology, living the same lifestyle across different experiences and situations, looking for what's next in life. I don't even think we're looking at this point. We're just paying attention, right? Thank you for saying that, Wouldn't Resist. We're just like here. We're not like, where's the next thing? We're just like, look at what's now. And we get to do that together, friend. As you mentioned, it's a genuine pleasure. You friends help me more than I can say. Thank you for allowing me to help in any way that I can as well. It's a journey that a person is on. The experience of a certain relationship can feel like agony, but holding on to the image of set expectation doesn't allow you to enjoy what you can work with. You're right. You're completely right, Isaac. And it's again attachment and suffering, friend. You have to go pick up. I have to go pick up my son. Feel better soon, Mel. Your dad loves you. Know how he knows how, and you're a good person. Keep being you. Thank you, Amanda. Go and love that little man of yours as well. I know you will. I feel that if a simple mind is forced to attempt to understand complex concepts, they may go mad. No, I'm enjoying the things you're sharing, Daniel, because I get to be the opposite side of the spectrum. And that's what my job is, you know? I don't claim to know anything. I say things like the birds are making sounds right now, and then you pull information from that. And the information you pull is what is of value. Not what I'm saying, what you say, what you feel as your truth. Live into the felt fact of your immediate experience, what feels like a fact to you. And for me, that fact has become love. So I live into the felt fact of love in my immediate experience. And I have to keep reminding myself of that every second, every day, every moment, even. And we can get caught up. We can all get caught up. But I do believe that people are capable of doing. I don't think people will go mad if you share something with them they can't understand. They'll just be like, it's the same way where, like math, for example. I mean, I don't know if that's a good example. There's some crazy math, dude. There's some crazy math out there right now. But if you don't understand it, you don't go crazy for not understanding it. At least that's the thing that I'm feeling in right now. Yeah, and that is devastating thought, Melt. But that realization will come to him soon, or it could be too late. You cannot control the situation, but you have influence. Trust that you're doing your best. I'm trying to, Isaac. I'm really trying to, friend. You know, and again, from this perspective of him being me, the worst thing that could happen to me is ending up alone. You know, where my kids don't want to spend time with me. The person that I married wants to get away from me, you know. And if I were to see myself living that way, I would say something. But he doesn't see me as himself. He sees me as his lesser. He sees me as a child. So it's a paradox. Has your dad ever tried psychedelics? That would help him so much. Yeah, I've tried to get him to take psychedelics. Maxine, he's been willing to take a single gram of mushrooms, and now he's convinced he knows what it's like. You know, like he tried a gram of mushrooms with me on a hike where we went into the mountains, and it was gorgeous. We saw like a bunch of wild fungi and these beautiful, you know, little, almost like a rainforest-esque, you know, area, beautiful rock formations, little rivers going through the walking trail. It was gorgeous. And he took a gram of mushrooms with me on that experience. And there was like a moment where we kind of like sat down and looked into each other's eyes, and we were both kind of teary-eyed, and I asked him to close his eyes, and he did. And he had his eyes closed for like 4 seconds, and he opens his eyes again, and he's like, oh, you're gonna tell me it's a mushroom? And he starts explaining basically the tree of life, you know. And I'm like, yeah, that's just the tree of life, you know. Ancient symbolism, literally ancient symbolism, coming from thousands of years of humanity. And he sees this, the first thing he sees when he closes his eyes. And I'm like flipping out. I'm like, yo, do you understand what is being communicated to you from yourself? You close your eyes, all of this reality melts away, and you're with yourself, and the first thing that yourself showed you is the tree of life. Everything is connected. And he refuses to close his eyes again. We finished the trip, we finished the hike, we got back to the, you know, little place we were like staying, the chalet, and that was kind of it. And then I took him through another 1 gram experience when he had COVID. So I made him like a herbal tea with some mushrooms ground up in it, gave him this mushroom tea, and then just like sat with him during his like COVID symptoms. He had a hard time breathing, so I just like spent some time with him, holding his hand, talking to him. And that was like the 2 experiences he's had. And now when I talk to him about taking him through another experience, he tells me, Maxine, that he's done it before. He knows what it's like, he says to me. And I'm like, bro, no, you don't. And then he's like, don't tell me what I don't know. And I'm like, but dude, you do not know. You cannot know what it's like to have taken 5 grams of mushrooms if you don't take 5 grams of mushrooms. You can't be like, oh yeah, 1 gram of mushrooms felt this way, so if I feel 5 times like that, that's what it's gonna feel like. No. So that's the struggle train I'm riding right now, Maxine. He believes he knows what the psychedelic experience is. It's kind of funny, to be completely honest, it's kind of funny. Can I just say that I have missed all you friends, and I love you all so much. We've missed you, both of you, Ninja family as well. I may not be present as often, but you friends are always in my heart, holding space for you all, sending extra love to those who need it right now. Love you, Eden. Like, you don't have to worry, friend. If you think about this space, if you think about me, if you think about one of our friends, in that moment, you're there. We are no more than a thought away. And I know you think about this space, I know you think about us, Eden. You're never lost. You're never separate, friend. We love you and we like having you here. That's what's important. Think about this. All most parents want for their children is to give. better than their parents gave them. From what I see, your dad has more than done that. He produced you, and you're not so bad. That's where I'm coming from, Miss Molly. You know, that's the thing that I remind myself of. That's the conclusion I come to when I ask myself the question of how is love true? In this whole scenario, in my upbringing, in the relationship I have with him, how is love true? And that's basically the understanding that I have as well. I couldn't agree more, friend. Thank you for reminding me as well. He needs to take more, a lot more. I know, and he's like me, I believe at least, when it comes to that as well. So not only does he need to take more, but he needs to take more than normal people needs to, right? Like I've had psychedelic experiences with friends where they're having a hard time seeing, you know, in front of them because of the amount of fractals that their world is contorting into, and I am basically completely sober next to them, and they're like, how are you not fucking out right now? I'm like, I don't see anything. So he needs to take a lot more. That's the thing. I'm trying though, Maxine. I agree with that. I think the hardest part is that he doesn't have the ability to show it and show his love in a way that would be better serve the family. I doubt he doesn't love them. He just should have shown it in the way. That's it, Eden. And it's it's something that we all notice. You know, I feel like that's the biggest problem. It's something we're all noticing. In my experience, an eighth of mushies is standard to have any real effect. An eighth? An eighth. I don't know how much an eighth is. I think an eighth is like 2.5 grams, is it? I don't know grams. I'm sorry, Maxine. I have to go shortly. You were here, Dry. Thank you, friend, for being here. The stream was really awesome. Thank you, Mel, for all of your valuable words today and conversation. From all, definitely took a lot from it. Thank you, friend, for allowing yourself these moments, for taking from yourself, for learning. 3.5 grams. Yeah, that's a good one. Love you. Love you, Historian. It was nice having you here. See you, Dry. Love you, friend. Thank you for saying like goodbye to our friend as well, friends. Yeah, 3.5 grams. You're gonna have a mushroom experience. That's what I want for him. You know, I want him to melt, and it's. I feel I feel a little bit maniacal about that part of myself, where I'm like, almost like the crazy mad scientist type of vibe. You know, spiky ass hair with a lab coat. You know, imagine arcs of electricity between my Tesla coils. When my dad walks into my lab, and I'm like. Welcome to my lab. You're gonna get melted. But that's a little bit concerning. It's like, oh shit. Would he be angry if you secretly dosed him? I don't know if he would be angry. He probably would be. But I'm more concerned about the spiritual implications of that, Maxine. Like I wouldn't want to do that for myself, right? I wouldn't want to be tripping out randomly. I wouldn't want to believe that that is something that I want him to do to me, if that makes sense. So I wouldn't dose my dad. I think it might help. It would be a lot easier to do it that way. But I don't want to dose him because I feel there's so much more value in properly setting an intention for the trip. I feel like there's only value if you set a proper intention for the trip. You know, you want to actually learn something about yourself. He probably will learn things about himself nonetheless, but I would rather have it the other way. I can't even handle 1 gram of my own fleshy dried psilocybin cubensis. I'm highly sensitive. I trip hard on a half gram. Meanwhile, my mother can take 10 grams. She doesn't get any visions. Probably is because of the prescribed drugs she takes. Maybe. For me, the highest dose of mushrooms that I've taken is 7.77 grams. And I didn't not have visuals, but I didn't have what people told me visuals were going to be. Like, for instance, like I was looking at that tree as I was coming up on the 7.77 gram trip, and I could defocus, and there would be like a waviness with like the intersecting branches. It was like that was happening in front of my eyes, but I was just seeing what was there, like that. You know, I wasn't seeing something that wasn't there in front of me. If I close my eyes, I see all of the, and I'm like, oh, wow. But in my normal world, everything stays kind of crisp. So like when friends, take the same dose with me and they're like having a hard time seeing their hands in front of their face, I don't understand at all, cute violinist. I don't understand. Well, that's the case for some people. I once took 20. Happy smile seeker. Like that must have been a melting experience, dude. Like you must have actually turned into goo. Probably had to be, scraped off the pavement, scraped off your head, like with a blade. Oh my goodness, yes, that evil laugh, I love it. I'm happy that you stayed for it, friend. But if his mind is closed off to melting, any amount of psychedelics won't fix him. You need to approach with an open mind and an open heart. He's probably just had a bad time because he's a closed door. He didn't have a bad time with the previous experiences, weirdly enough. I think he had a good time, and that for some reason scares him. Like our previous, generations were so indoctrinated with this idea of drugs, and addiction, and how you're gonna ruin your life with drugs and addiction. But addictive personalities and people trying to escape reality has been a common part of our reality for as long as we've existed. It's you. Whatever the psychedelics do, it's going to show you to yourself. And I feel he might be scared of that versus or slash scared of becoming dependent on that experience. Do you have to take anything to have visions, awareness, etc.? As you grow, you will learn. Yep, it's true actually, Miss Molly. I can now the whole little wavy thing. I can do that just with meditation. Meditation, defocusing my vision and just breathing rhythmically, and then things start melting. I've taken mushrooms in a bad headspace and it was not a vibe. I've also taken them just at a party and have a good time, and that I did, to have a good time, and that I did, but there was nothing profound from it, just lots of laughs. I feel it's one of those, it's a tool. It's literally a consciousness enhancing tool. And your consciousness is very capable of adapting to many different scenarios. I believe that the future we're heading into, psychedelics are going to be pretty mainstream. Don't get me wrong, I have done more than my share. There's no shame in either of it. I feel there is just this practicing of awareness when it comes to realizing that we don't need that state. In the same way that we don't need anything, that state just allows us a little bit more awareness sometimes. Okay, I really have to go. Love you, historian. Thank you again for the conversation today. I took so much. We love you, friend. See you again soon. I feel like psychedelics are essential and a powerful tool to have. I feel psychedelics is a rite of passage. It's like basically the same thing as saying it's essential, but I like to say rite of passage because it creates a little bit of grandeur, I feel, in my mind. Like taking psychedelics when you come into adulthood, I feel can show you parts of yourself that you would not have seen throughout your entire life. Like I think Timothy Leary had this cool quote. He was like a psychologist and he was like a professor teaching psychology, and then he had a mushroom trip, and he mentions in 5 hours I learned more about human psychology than I did in 15 years of studying. In 5 hours the dude learns more about human psychology, learns more about himself than he did studying, reading books, forcing information into his egoic brain. That's the thing that's truly valuable to me. I'm able to achieve vision / images on closed eyes without using psychedelics as well. True, mine as well. Like right now, I'm seeing like almost like a nuclear explosion, but the bubble was like kind of stuck to the ground, and it was like it's still exploding, but it was almost like frozen in time, frozen in the middle of its explosion. A little bit of information. I feel it's a growth process, as everything is, Ms. Molly. There are states we're doing mushrooms and ketamine treatments for health, mental health, and I fully support them. It's true. It's happening. Like we're already in the second psychedelic revolution. This time around, we actually have good data. Breathing and meditation can be very powerful. I feel breathing and meditation can be even better when it comes to psychedelic mindset as well. And if you can be happy and stable within the meditative breathing exercises, psychedelics become easier as well. So it's like a tandem process. Cool research to see, it really is. Only you know when or if to take it. After a while, years will pass, and then it's actually fun. I'm calm, fortunately, Miss Molly. It's not something that I need. One of the most powerful moments was when I took MDMA for the first time in 2020. I had never felt so much love for myself. I saw myself in such a different light. Psychedelics have helped me so much. That it's a trauma healing tool for me, Maxine, because we get so stuck in these concepts, in these stories of ourselves, and psychedelics melts that. It melts that story away, and then in that void, in that goo, in that potential, you get to rebuild for yourself something, an experience, and you get to keep that rebuilt experience, sir, afterwards, or you get to go back to how you used to be. More often than not, we choose not to. We realize that we can change for the better. I don't feel like psychedelics serve me anymore, but it's been a while. I just feel like I've maxed out on it, if that makes sense. A friend of mine, Adam, likes to repeat this quote a lot by Terence McKenna, where he goes, "Once you receive the message, put down the phone." And for me, it's almost the same, Eden, where, like DMT, for example, I feel I got the message and I don't plan on picking up the phone anytime soon again. Almost like the whole having maxed out on that experience. So maybe I'll do it again in a decade, but not anytime soon. That's just too much information. That makes total sense. I feel the same way. That's what we needed to learn, and we have been and it has been captured. The rest is up to us. There we go. You're completely capable, friends. Like after a while, you've tried it all. You felt all the feels. It's almost redundant. And every single time I take psychedelics, Ninja, it reminds me that this is the experience we're here for. This sober, conscious experience, right? And I don't believe in sobriety. And that sounds like such a weird thing to say, but what we think of as sobriety, right? Like I'm sober right now. Like I had a coffee, so technically not completely sober, but I'm sober right now. This experience is still an absolute trip. There's like birds making noises right now. There's a tree, there's a sun setting, there's a puppy on my lap right now. All of this is a trip, right? Like I don't think any of it is not psychedelic. It just increases in its psychedelicness. What could I say? Maybe a few people that I know will understand this. Could I use that saying? Please. Please. Once you receive the message, put down the phone. It's a Terence McKenna saying, so you feel free, Miss Molly. Maybe when Fruit Cup is older, she and I can do it together and share the experience. Maybe then it'll be a renewed experience. Oh yes, I believe that actually. I genuinely believe that. I think it's gonna be a cool one for you, Eden. Being able to like guide your daughter through an experience like that when she's coming of age, as she's gonna enter the world as an adult. You know what raising a kid should be is you preparing them for the world. That should be what parenting is, you know. So I feel like you're doing that, Eden. I've tried DMT, but I feel it wasn't the experience I wanted. It was so intense and I was by myself. I saw rolling and repeating images like Alex Gray pieces. The only message I got was that love is the key, right? That's the only message that DMT gives you. Is like, hey, how about love? How about that? And I'm like, okay, I'm fine. Fine, love is true, huh? Okay, cool. You know, and that's the thing. That's the thing for me. And DMT is one of those experiences where you don't get what you expect, as you mentioned. Quite the contrary. It's it's not necessarily a fun experience. It's more an illuminating one. I have to admit, LSD 25 is much more potent than 1P LSD. I got myself in Canada. Highly recommend. I don't know, actually, to be completely honest. I don't actually know. Cute, angry, dark elf. Hello to you, friend. It's nice to have you here. Been very afraid of trying LSD. Read a book called Go Ask Alice, and it scared the hell out of me. Hmm. I respect your, what's the word I'm looking for? Carefulness? No. It's like carefulness. Resistance, reluctance, skepticism. Maybe skepticism is the right word. I respect your skepticism, and if it doesn't call to you, then it's not for you, Maxine. The LSD experience is the thing that we know about the LSD experience right now is the fact that it upregulates your own natural DMT release. The LSD molecule itself might not actually be a communicator, which is trippy. How are ya? I'm well, Elf. Thank you for saying hi to our friends. If she wants to, I'm open to it with her. Not going to recommend it, but desire to try. I will definitely recommend it to my kids, probably. Mariah, Jovan, and Daniel. I'm gonna skip to the present of your friends. Katie! So nice to see you with me. I said thank you yesterday. A nearby city made shrooms legal recently, and my city is pushing to make them and MDMA legal too. More power to it. And with legalization, it's still up to for you to make that choice. Exactly, Mariah. Like we're going to have a time where people are actually going to be properly educated about how to use these things. A friend told me that salvia was a good substitute for weed. Oh goodness! Why would he do that? He told me to get the leaves with the guy at a smoke shop, and it got me to get the strongest extract they have. Yeah, see, that's a big of a yikes. Like if you smoke a bowl of like 100x salvia, expecting it to be weed, you're straight up not gonna have a good time. No good times for you. I'm so sorry, Daniel, that you had to go through that, friend. I went to a different dementia with that salvia. Yeah, it only lasted 5 minutes, but it felt like millions of lifetimes. Unfortunately, salvia does that. It can put you into an experience where you're like a conveyor belt, turns you into a conveyor belt, and then it makes you work as a conveyor belt for an infinity, and you're like, huh, I'm in hell. Nope, you're just dripping salvia. Kate with a hey Mel, good to see you. Hey Isaac, I owe you a response. Good to see you too. How's everyone doing? Are you back home? What's new? I'm back home, Katie. Thank you for joining us, friend. Not too much. Still dealing with the same life stuff. How about you? I don't understand the question, Mariah. I think I missed the question if you asked one. I don't think it was a question. Was it a question? Shanna is here with us? No, you're saying that it's Shannon. That's why I love weed. It just enhances whatever state of mind you are already in, hence the intention setting, melt, pop up, put up. Yeah, exactly. Right? Like the intention you set is basically like you creating a space inside of your mental level. And then from that mental space that you create, you smoke this cannabis and then it almost like expands that mental space. But if the mental space you're in at that moment is not one you want to be in, you don't exactly want it expanded. So set an intention. Thank you, Mariah, for giving me a chance to say that. Holy crap, dude. I smoked the bowl and felt nothing. I got up to get water and boom, I was gone. Yeah, that's a bit of a yikes, dude. You don't want to get up. My phone is dying a little bit faster today. It's on 5%. Melty, when you get LSD, is it liquid or tab? Liquid. At the moment, I have liquid. Maxine. I got the same message on ayahuasca. It's all about love and humans. Animals and nature is one. We are all connected. That's the beautiful thing about it, right? Like if these psychedelic experiences told us to kill our parents, then I'd be like, yeah, maybe this isn't the vibe. But every single time I take psychedelics, it takes me to this experience of really showing me the value of love, the value of family, the value of choosing love above all else. And I think everyone can use some of that. Go Ask Alice is a diary that got published about a young girl who got secretly dosed of LSD and ended up peeling her face off in the mirror because she didn't know what the fuck was happening. Yeah, that's why I would never dose someone against their will. Like that, I mean, I don't know how something like that actually happens, but apparently something like that could happen, so I'd rather not. I came to rolling around. Yeah, I was about to say, Daniel, like you're walking and then suddenly you're just in another dimension, so your body is like, boom. Lamar, what a point to make. Oh, I'm happy you're enjoying it. I want to get the motivation or bravery to go for a 3.5 gram trip. Been a bit the scaredy cat. You'll be so fine. It's the melting thing. Genuinely, Isaac, if you're okay with melting, and you can remind yourself that you can melt and you can melt and you can melt and melt and melt and melt and melt more, then there's nothing to be scared of. Because even if your ego dissolves into a small little goo, there will still be you. There cannot be anything other than you, in fact. Don't ask us. Dosed. It's pretty far. I'm good at least. It's a quick time. I have 1% on my Reddit phone left. I have good news. Tomorrow I'm going for my first chakras like Reiki session. I'm excited to see how it feels. Let us know as well. I've never gone for Reiki, but I'm very curious about it. The cycle of life, everyone and everything is important from the past and now and the future. You in this moment. Thank you, Wooden. Salvia is not my friend. Nope. Nope, nope. Nope, nope, nope. Daniel, not funny. That has to be hilarious. Oh, there it goes. It died. Okay. I want to get the motivation. You'll be so fine. You know, like if it calls to you, if it calls to you, do it. I would like to do it with you though, Isaac, you know, so I have like a bias. Be like, no, don't do it, Isaac. Wait for me to come to America and then we'll do it together. But nah, you so got this, dude. You so got this all by yourself. I don't want to be selfish. I want you to believe. Yikes. I had a very powerful psychedelic experience on spice too. It was very pleasant, but I didn't like how I got there with the spice. Yeah, spice is synthetic cannabinoids. It's a little bit of a yikes. If I were to recommend anything, I would recommend you don't smoke those things, Daniel. They're a little like we know they're bad for us right now. And melting is a reason I have avoided a tea break. I don't want to come back to the weeds and trip alone. I've done enough solo trips. I don't know, maybe I'm cray cray. I get where you're coming from though, Mariah. It it becomes a default state almost, right? Like the way we use these compounds. It becomes like the way we use coffee. And as long as we're respectful of our own, you know, health, of our own well-being, of our own mental spaces in doing these things, I don't think there is harm in doing it. As soon as we start to become unaware, we're just like perpetually getting high again after not being high, just so that we can be high. Mm-mm. That is where there's harm, because then you're escaping something. You're not expanding something. If you feel you are ready to do a 3.5, go with it with open arms. You're gonna be embraced as though, like that's the thing. You're gonna actually be embraced. There's gonna be no hatred or anger for you. I've never done any psychedelics, and I don't feel the need to. Maybe someday, if it calls to you, Shannon. If it calls to you, life is psychedelic, friend. Look at a tree. Look at a tree. Like no psychedelics will be able to show you something as intricately beautiful, complex, infinitely fractaled as just looking at a tree. You know, and when you can really notice that, and I know you do, Shannon, you don't need psychedelics, because psychedelics, at least in my life, helped me see that. At first, like as I mentioned to you, friends, I hated life. Like I hated life in a way where I wanted to I wanted to die, but I also wanted to take life with me in dying. You know, maybe that is what dying is technically, taking your own life, taking life. Like it was, I was negative, yo. Like angry at the world, angry at myself, angry at the experience I was having, and I got more and more depressed because of that anger, because of that hatred for the world, and it, you know, pushed me to the point of wanting to actually die, choosing to die, in fact, you know, going and doing research about how much it will take to kill me and then going for it. And that experience, surviving that experience, kind of illuminated some things to me. It showed me that it was, this sounds pompous, but it showed me that I can't die. Even if I die, I'm still gonna have to come back and live. And I was like, what do you mean I can't die? And then I started doing more research. I started finding out about, you know, weed, stopped taking my antidepressants, started exercising, and then after starting to smoke weed, starting to exercise, I got into psychedelics. And the psychedelics helped illuminate, to me at least, the value, the beauty of nature and the value of being alive. And some people need that. Some people have it already. Daniel, you took advice from someone on probation. Wait a second. I think I missed what you said. A co-worker was smoking a lot of spice because he was on probation, and I was not aware of how dangerous it could be. Thank you, Daniel, for knowing at least now, friend. Exactly. I feel like I'm sensitive for something like that. I feel you, Shannon. You don't need anything, friend. You are perfectly whole. Perfectly whole. I have a very hard time with the leaning into it as it begins to happen. My reality likes to jump ship halfway though and give me a bad time. It's the ego, I believe, Isaac. Your ego is like, bruh, why is everything falling apart around me? All of these bits of information that I had access to at all times that I considered myself now suddenly turns to goo, and I'm like, what's happening? So it happens to me too. And then I just breathe. And I'm like, oh yeah, I can just breathe in this space, you know, even though I might not be anything, I am everything. I felt that melt. I had a deep hatred for myself. The flower remedies, I feel have helped me break that as well. Man, how happy does that make me? And you're the one technically placeboing, tripping yourself out, Shannon, right? Like we know that the placebo is a real thing. Your mental world can shape your physical world. I bought an eighth of spice and smoked a bit here and there. One morning I had about a bowl left, so I smoked it all because before leaving for work. Oh goodness. I ended up asking a guy on the street if I was there. I asked if he could see me. The only thing that attracted me to spice was that it was so cheap and I didn't have to wait on my lazy butt on a weed guy. I mean, yeah, I guess that is an incentive for some people. And it makes me sad that people are doing it in that way because you're not the only one, Daniel. Yeah, I love card time. Me too, Shannon. Especially the way that I've been pulling the cards, where I'm like doing this. I never pulled cards in this way, and I kind of like it. Ah, this one. Let's see. Let's see. Ooh, I like this card. It goes swallow the sun. Swallow the actual sun. Isn't that pretty? Swallows and a massive sun. Sicketh. All right. Let's see what it means. What does it mean? Yay, yesterday was the moon. Yesterday was the moon, you're right. Yesterday we had the moon of cycles. And I don't know if you friends know, if you friends have the same app or feature that I have, but my Windows has like this little bar at the bottom of it that has like this little mini depiction, and then you click on the depiction and it shows you the picture, where the depiction came from. And yesterday's was the phase moons, Shannon. The phase moons. And I was like, bro, what do you mean? What do you mean, universe? Synchronicities, even on my computers? Man, it's cold. Damn, this water that fell on the earth is now like chilling the air to like a freezing temperature. And my fingers are so cold. Like I can feel the air cutting through the blanket. I ended up going home because I had forgotten part of my uniform. And that's when it really hit me. That's when it acted like, do you mean it really hit you, the fact that you're tripping the fuck out, or it actually started hitting you when you got back home? Goodness, dude. Like that sounds like a terrifying experience. I've never had an experience like that. You know, like asking someone if I'm there. You'll see. That's so crazy. No way. Part of me isn't surprised though. No, I'm not surprised either at this point, Shannon. Like as I mentioned to you, like I have received so many confirmations, so many affirmations to what it is we're doing right now that I cannot help but believe. I cannot help but believe, Clint. I believe in you, friend. I hope you believe in you too. Swallow the sun, dreams and vision. The sun is celebrated throughout the world as a giver of life, in some cultures, even as a god. Both the ancient Greeks and Romans worshipped one, and also Shannon, yeah, you know, okay. Both the ancient Greeks and Romans worshipped one or more solar deities, and in Hindu literature, the sun is mentioned as the visible form of God that one can see every day. Aztec, Incan, and Egyptian traditions all held the sun in godly accord. However, your spiritual belief, it is clear that our sun represents a psychological principle that transcends time and place. 144 right now. The vibrant geometry of this card invites you to explore its symbolism and its ability to illuminate and guide you. Swallows swoop and play in the solar portal, encouraging you to see a light-hearted reflection of your dreams and visions. Dreams, whether in sleep or the musings of reverie, will offer clues to your internal process. Vision directs your path and offers a sense of purpose, vitality, and life force. What messages have you dreamed? What messages have your dreams offered lately? What progress are you making towards the realization of your vision? Meditate with this card and consider these questions. Do not be hard on yourself if you are not happy with your progress. Realize that when you push too hard, you may actually be resisting the thing that you most desire. Relax with your positive intentions as you bring your finest dreams and visions into this reality. Those are tarantala, guinea fowl. They make cool sounds. When the flow, when this when the spot flew off and started turning into a human from a single cell to a full-grown human. You used to be a single cell. You used to be a single cell. You used to be two, became one, became you. To be in this moment. How cool. Full-grown human. Thank you, friends, for joining me, sharing this moment with me. Life is beautiful. You are life, Shannon. You are beautiful. Thank you, beloved friends, for letting me say things to you that I want you to believe. I hope that I will continue to say things that we can all want to believe, you know. It really is an honor to be able to, be in these moments with you, friends. What must have it been like to look up at a brilliant ball of light without understanding what a star or even what space is? I mean, like, let me show you what I'm looking at right now, Daniel. I feel like this moment, dude, kind of gives me a sense of what it was like, dude. Like, just that. Like, that's what it is, dude. Like, we just are in these moments. I'm gonna switch my camera and then switch it back. There we go. Different lens. I think we have filters that I've never actually used. Normal, beam, blush, dawn, bubbles, dance party, dream. Whoa, whoa. This feels like an acid trip. This is what it feels like to be on acid on the farm. You're just on acid right now, staring out into the infinity. Glamour. Yes, look at that film grain. Yes, documentary. It was the year 2022. Somewhere in South Africa, Meltmore was going crazy, slowly but surely. Haunted. Negatives. Square. There was love and light. Until there wasn't. The sketching? Whoa. That's pretty trippy as well. Oh, look at that. Ooh, look at what the tree looks like, man. That's pretty trippy, yo. What does this one look like? I've never used these filters. I'm happy to learn with you, friends. There we go. One more scene. Ooh, thank you. Sorry about that. It just suddenly bonked. Thank you, friends, for joining me. Have a fantastic day, everyone. Love you, Shannon. Love you, Clint. I believe in you, Melt. I believe in myself. I believe in the beauty of the souls here. Thank you for believing, friend. Nice. Those colors. Thank you, friends, for joining me. Have an amazing day. It starts here. Trying to bring my phone. It starts here, and then it goes all the way around the universe, and and then it circles back, and then it hits here on this finger. Like this much. You know, stop it, Mel. No, you stop it. Thank you, friends. Love you. See you again tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone.